Ho ho! It is the weekend! Welcome to the Social Media Podcast, the 2nd of January. How are you diddling? This is Simon Scholes here. Excellent, me too. Thank you very much for asking, by the way. So, here we are, the 2nd of January. We're into the first weekend of the new year, the first weekend of 2021. What are your plans for 2021? Did you have a listen to yesterday's podcast? Have you started planning your content already for 2021? I hope you have. Fingers crossed you did listen to yesterday's podcast. If you didn't, go back and check it out. It's all about planning your content for this year, which is hugely important, massively important for your brand and for your business, because then you can't use the excuse, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. The fact that it is the weekend is something I want to talk to you about today. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency. We help brands and businesses create content on social media that makes them stand out. Now, that could be video, animation, aerial work, all that kind of stuff. I also really want to help small businesses create content when I know full well they can't pay for it to be done themselves just yet. So I created a process. I turned it into a book. It went to number 1. It's available for 99p now on Amazon. It's called How to 9 Times Your Social Media, and it's everything from podcasting all the way backwards to marketing planning and a bunch of stuff that happens in between. But anyway, today let's talk about the fact that it is the weekend.
The Social Media Podcast with Simon Scholes. Tips, hints and great content ideas.
So it's Saturday. You would assume today would normally be a day off, wouldn't you? A lot of people do use weekends as a day off, but I want you to think through 2021. The weekends are another huge opportunity for you, especially on social media. Now, I am not suggesting you sit on social media all weekend and do nothing else and don't spend any time with family or friends and all that kind of stuff. Don't play with the kids, don't go for walks. Whatever tier you're in, you can do something. I'm not suggesting that. What I am suggesting is that you need to be aware that the weekend is a whole potential new audience that you might not speak to at any other time. Now, this time of year is a little bit different. It's slightly different because obviously people are off work. However, the weekends going forward from this one are all going to be the same. People will be at work during the week and maybe not in a position to use social media as often as they would do perhaps on a weekend. So they don't scroll through as much, they don't consume as much content. They generally look out for stuff from their friends and family, and if you happen to pop up in their feed at that point while they're searching for their friends and family stuff, then they will maybe consume your content. On a weekend, they're in a position where they can relax and consume far more. They're happy to sit and have a read, lay in bed a little bit longer. The kids are playing with themselves. They can sit and have a coffee and not have to worry about the boss looking over their shoulder because they're allowed to be on social media at home. They're not allowed to be on social media at work. So remember that on a weekend, this is a huge opportunity for you to say hello to those potential new people. Now, that might mean scheduling some content. I'm not a huge fan of scheduling. You will know this because the platforms do punish you if you schedule using external software for a start, and they're not a big fan of scheduled stuff generally. They like it to be live so that you can interact with it live and go back to people live and all that kind of stuff. But you could schedule some content so that you've got stuff going out on a weekend. You could also put stuff out live. You could put out polls and quizzes and all sorts of really cool, fun stuff that could be connected back to the content that you've put out during the week. So I want you to consider weekends not as a possibility or a chance for you to down tools completely, but to think social media doesn't switch off. Social media doesn't stop working at 5 o'clock in the evening and start again at 9 o'clock the next morning when you're in work. And it doesn't work a 5-day week. It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, or even 366 on a leap year. It doesn't even take that extra day off. So think about it that way. How are you going to make sure on a weekend that you're going to continue talking to not only your current audience so they don't forget about you, and they will, people are fickle, but also potentially that whole new audience that you could be talking to. There's people who don't get to use social media on a weekday, but will get to use it on a weekend. How are you going to talk to them? How are you going to interact with them? How are you going to get them to be drawn into your content without necessarily having to spend the entire weekend on social media? Because you don't have to. But You do have to be posting something so that they can get something from it, so that they can get some value, so that they can be drawn into the value that you give. Because remember, as we always say, people buy an emotion, and the value you're giving is the emotion that they can tie into. And hopefully they'll become a member of your clan, enjoy your content so much they'll interact with it during the week rather than on a weekend. But if they continue to react on it on a weekend, that doesn't matter, does it? It's the fact that you've got a whole new potential audience on the weekend. That's what I want you to take from this. Okay, right, I'm going to disappear. I'm going to foxtrot Oscar and have a good rest of my Saturday. I will catch you tomorrow on Sunday, January the 3rd, for another broadcast, another podcast, because like I say, I'm going to be going live 365 days this year. Fingers crossed. I'm not making any promises, but that's one of my goals, is to be live on the podcast every single day this year. It might fail as a goal, but hell, if we don't really push ourselves, what will we ever find out about ourselves? Anyway, until tomorrow, have a good one, and I will see you soon. Take care, and be safe as well. It's still really weird out there, isn't it? Have a good one. Bye.
This was a Perception Studios production.